welcome each and everyone out tonight to the city meeting. We have a motion to approve last month's minutes. We have a motion, have a second. Second. Discussion.
Was there a date? Was the date correct?
Yes.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any committee reports?
Yes, Personnel Committee, we interviewed a few people, we had some empty spots. First off, myself and Chief Mosley interviewed a gentleman, Billy Dexter, that I'd like to make a recommendation that we hire him.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion. What was that name again?
Billy Dexter,
And what's it being hired for?
policeman.
Oh, policeman, okay, I'm sorry.
We have one. Any more discussion? Call it.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
James Griswold, Keith Gibson,
Yes.
Buck Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Des Dale.
Aye.
Also have two guys that are part-time, we're gonna make full-time for the street department. Those guys would be Guy Reeves and Ray Smith. I'd like to make a motion that we hire both of those gentlemen as well, because we're short of them on the street department.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Call it.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Griswold,
Yes.
Buck Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Des Dale.
Aye. Next, before we read the recorder's report, I'd like to make everybody, if you will write this down, the Christmas parade will be December the 3rd, 11 a.m. And our Christmas dinner for the employees will be December the 9th at the Senior Citizen Center at 12 o'clock. So we hope all the board can attend and have a good time of fellowship. Next thing I'd like to mention, I don't want to mention any names, but we went and met with a First Community. I'd like for the board to support maybe us moving some of our monies to First Community. Our fees at US Bank is, well, I just mentioned it, is phenomenal. And there is no fees at First Community, so I feel like in order to do what's right for the taxpayers, I'm not saying we'll move it all right off the bat, but I think we need to move some money to overcome these fees we're getting charged. We've talked to them, but we still get them. Every time you turn around, fees coming in. So what interest we're drawing, the fees are eating them up. So, we really need to do that on behalf of the taxpayer. Do we have a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
You did mine.
Where is the US Bank?
Right down the road here.
Is this again?
Yes, ma'am. And I've talked to those folks, like I said, and, so, any more discussion? Call the roll, Vicky.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Griswold,
Yes.
Buck Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Des Dale.
Also, I'd like to mention, if we need a motion, and I think legally I can make the motion as the mayor, can I, Chris?
Okay.
And my motion is the county wants to turn this city building, if y'all don't know, the city and the county owns this building. The city doesn't own it. And that was negotiated back in W.C. Cooper's day. So I met with the county mayor and his right-hand lady, Sarah Davis, and the county wants to give the city of Churchill this building. So my motion is we vote to accept this building. I don't want to get ahead of what the county's going to do, but over time, they're going to vacate this building altogether, and it will be strictly a city building. And when we do that, we will be moving some offices downstairs for handicap this building is a problem for handicap when you get out of your vehicle out here. So that's my motion that we accept the county turn over this bill 100% on the city of Churchill. We have a second
Second.
discussion.
When will this take effect?
Well, if we get this tonight, we just didn't want to get ahead of them, and they didn't want to get ahead of us, but I'm thinking probably the next 12 months calendar year. I can't really say, that's for them to say what they're going to do, but they will be vacating these offices.
So the motion would be
To
for
accept,
us to accept when they relinquish their interest.
yes. Yeah. And Chris, when that's done, you need to be involved as far as the paperwork. So,
And Mr. Gibson, your agreement to second that amendment?
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Okay, I'll second
Is the county the deed holder or the city county?
well, I think the deed holder, whoever owns the property, the city owns the property, if I ain't mistaken, ain't Chris?
I don't know I don't know whose name's on it.
that. I saw the contract a few years back, and I think the city is owns the building, owns the property. And
I've got it's on my desk in there, and I vaguely read it, Keith, but I think you're right, that whoever owns the property owns it. But,
what I saw was W.C. Cooper sold the property to the city, then the county built the building, and that's how it come about, the city county did.
so we more discussion?
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grimsley,
Yes.
Buck Tipton.
Yes.
Michael Walker.
Yes.
Chris Steele.
And I think it was kind of the county to do that. They're just, they know we've got some problems on handicap, and we'll correct that once this is all done, where people can come in and pay their taxes and it'd be accessible to the facility. Now I'd like to recognize Churchill Middle School patrons. Would everyone that's involved in that, would you please stand up? And the coach? Who's the coach? You, Jeremy?
It's me, guilty.
The City of Churchill Mayor and Alderman would like to recognize Churchill Middle School football program for their dedication and commitment of developing a winning culture. They bring honor and pride not only to our schools and the City of Churchill, but to all East Hawkins County through their achievement of being the Regional 1AA Conference Champions and the Regional 1AA Regional Champions for the 2022 school year. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
It's a great bunch,
Good
great
job.
bunch of
Good
kids.
job. Good job.
Hey, and I want to say thank you to the city of Churchill. Well, I got this second. I just want to say thank you to the city of Churchill for the support and everything, and the police officers. They came up and helped us paint the field, volunteered their time to help us and things like that. So the support that these kids feel from the community. I mean, I know it's not a city school, but we do take pride in Churchill, and we have kids from Mount Carmel and the county as well, and it is Churchill. You know, it is. It's a special place, and I just want to thank everybody in the community as well as our police officers and officials for helping us with that. Thank you.
Let's give them another round.
Do you want to pose with your students for a photo? Do you want to pose with one of your students for a photo?
Come here, Brad. Come here, guys. Come here.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. 1,
that your whole
2,
thing?
3. Perfect.
Jeremy, is that your whole team?
They're all playing basketball tonight at West Green. Yeah. No, we had 4 strict kids. Just a lot of them playing basketball and stuff tonight at West Green Middle.
Thank y'all again. I know, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you mind to write down their names?
Next, I'd like to.
So-
let
The
ones
Yeah, so I can make sure and
We
credit
got our
them.
ARPA money, our other 900 some odd thousand, we've got a total of $1.5 million. I talked to Evan, as y'all well know, we purchased a garbage truck, every how many months ago, and we're looking at maybe, once we've got this in, and purchasing and put out to bid a brush truck, and I'll get with Evan tomorrow, he done the garbage truck, and start that proceedings for maybe, the new or low mileage brush truck. So just want to let the board know, we need one, we've got two, and they're just about wore out. We took up a lot of brush. And then we'll get into the sewer, and stuff, we'll have to have workshops on that, once we get this behind us and, move forward. So, next, I guess we have recorders report, did you read that in for Kimberly?
Our checking account from US Bank, our general fund is $7,941,103.12. Sewer fund is $2,188,232.23. Our swimming pool fund is $33,988.24. Depreciation fund is $1,303,592.28. Our total savings account in US Bank, our general contingency fund is $1,382,650.63. General savings fund is $44,613.70. Restricted reserve is $23,218.59. Our hardship fund is $15,329.94. Our drug fund is $1,805. Our local government investment fund 1 is $710.68. Government investment fund 10 is $262.03. For a total of $12,935,506.44.
Any questions? Before we get on the agenda, I'd like to bring something up. We had our personnel people look into this. As y'all well know, our part-time employees and our policemen are our full-time firemen. And for years, the city is, these guys are on call. For years, we've paid them like 2 hours if they come out on call. And I really feel like that's not enough. I think if we're gonna ask these folks to protect their city on fire calls, and I've had some discussion with some employees and everything, I think we ought to pay them a minimum of 4 hours pay if they come out, and that's at time and a half. And I think that's fair, and some people I've talked to, they think that's fair. So that's where we're at on fire calls. And then we're gonna sit down, next week or so and talk to Mosley and our fire chief about maybe taking a few people on the weekends, off. We don't know how many we can achieve, may just be one. We don't have a lot of people right now, but, I make the motion, we pay them at least a minimum of 4 hours pay. And a lot of times they come out and they'll cancel the call, right, chief?
Yes.
And, but to ask people to do that, eat dinner with their family, I think that's fair. So that's my motion, to pay a minimum of 4 hours, and then Paul said like that was fair also. So do we have a second on that?
Second.
That's a small price to pay for the protection they provide for the taxpayers here. And we appreciate what you guys do, really do. Any more discussion?
So that's if they, for example, come out and they get there and then it's canceled and they go
They get
home.
4 hours.
But if they are there longer than that,
They get-
they're paid
Yeah.
for the time they're there. Okay.
Yeah, time and a half, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Call the roll, Vicki?
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Dixon,
Yes.
James Springsteen,
Yes.
Buck Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Ben Still.
Aye. And, next we have is the holiday calendar. Did y'all had a chance to look at that? If so, we need a motion, that's the day they get off. We need a motion to approve the holiday calendar for the employees. We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Same as last year.
Call the roll.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grigsby,
Yes.
Bud Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Dennis Dale.
And next we have Christmas bonuses. We vote on that every year. We give the employees a Christmas bonus. The full-time gets, what is it, 53? 400, and the part-time gets 200, and the city pays the taxes. So they actually get that. They get 400 and 200. We have a motion to grant the Christmas bonuses?
I move we grant it.
There's a motion, second.
We're still paying taxes on that.
Any discussion? Please.
Michael Bell,
Yes.
Kathy Christian,
Yes.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grigsby,
Yes.
Bud Tipton,
Yes.
Michael Walker,
Yes.
Dennis Dale.
Have I missed anything? Is that it? Yes.
We had a workshop, and since that was advertised, we probably just need to, there'll be minutes logged for that meeting. The purpose of the workshop was to revise our personnel policy. It's still a work in progress. We hope to have a draft of the personnel policy 2 weeks prior to the December meeting, so you all can review that. I would ask that if you have topics for revision, that we could talk about how alternate language could be proposed so that the entire group can consider if there's something that you all would like changed in the recommendations that have been made to us by MPAS. They make recommendations, we review them and adopt them, but we're not just a rubber stamp. So if you're going to make some suggestions for changes, let's get those suggestions in the hands of everyone else so that we can consider those. And as part of that new personnel policy, we're going to have some job descriptions because of changes in office assignments and other positions. There will be some minor changes, I think, to job descriptions. Hope to have those ready for you to review in advance of the next meeting so that it won't be just you get them 3 days later you vote.
So what about the things that we put in the parking lot? Is that what you called it? The things that we had looked at but was gonna take way too long to,
Well, yes, we'll address those in the draft. And most of those things were things that didn't have significant impacts, but had questions about how they're implemented. Is that a fair
it
characterization?
is, yes.
So we'll put the draft together, and if there's suggestions or items that need to be discussed at the meeting, come prepared to do that discussion at the next meeting. If it's the council's preference, we can have a discussion at the next meeting and then vote on it the following meeting. So it'll be an item on the agenda for discussion. And if we're at a point that we feel comfortable in moving forward, then we'll take up a motion from the floor, if there's a motion to adopt the policy, or if there are amendments that we need to hash out, then we'll try to get those worked out. It's been about 20 years since it was revised, so we're hoping that this one will last another 20 years. But let's put the proper order. Any questions? And that was a good point.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Before we adjourn, adjourn, I'd like to remember those folks, was it Virginia Tech that lost their lives?
Virginia.
Virginia, you know,
Yeah,
you send
that's
your children to school and hoping they get, stay safe and then things like this happen. So, I think we need to remember those folks that said it was three outstanding, young men and, remember their family in the prayers if you don't. Anybody else got anything?
Well, I say one thing. In an earlier meeting, I mentioned something about the Isaiah House, and we had talked about that. And what I'd like to do with the board approval is I'd like to invite those people to come to our next meeting and do a presentation. We mentioned about making a donation out of that baby doll money, but I think it'd be good if everybody heard what their story is, what they're trying to do, heard it from them. So with permission, I will get them a message for our next meeting.
Why don't we do it in January? Because December is, with this personnel policy, I mean.
Okay, that'll be fine.
If we do January.
December will be fine, because, they've not broke ground yet.
I mean, if we could get them come in January's meeting,
If-
because we got a full plate to be
Okay,
there.
that'll be fine.
Okay.
I will make plans for that one.
Quick question, Mayor. Hate to go back to on the fire calls. Just to clarify, we've always paid our drivers additional 2 hours because of their responsibility of driving the truck, fueling the truck.
They still get
We're
that.
still going to keep it the same? Okay, just wanted
No,
to
it ain't gonna be the same. Instead of getting 2 hours, they get 2 hours for coming, they get 2 hours for driving, correct?
No, but
They get
before everybody,
That's what I just, yeah, that's what.
yeah, they got
So
4
now they're gonna get 4 plus 2.
plus 2. I just want to make sure we're on the
We
same
gotta
page.
have the driver.
Right, we got to have them,
We got car
responsibilities
calls, we
there.
ain't got a trucker or one drove.
Right.
Yeah, they get the 2 hours for driving.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Entertain a motion to adjourn? Have a second? Huh?